Yo, como están? It's Well Done Tuesday, and thank you for joining my channel. Like always, hit the like, the subscribe, and the bell to get notifications. This week's title, we're going to be going over work, club life, balance. Hit the intro. Yo, como están? It's Well Done Tuesday, and again, thank you for joining me this early freaking morning. It's 6:30 a.m. I'm riding to work. Yes, I ride to work. I ride everywhere. So this week's topic, we're going to be going over work, club life balance. A lot of times you hear people complain that they can't get in a club or they don't have enough time. And then you have the other aspect, right? That they're in the club and they're having issues with work. But one of the things that we have to realize in the motorcycle club is every club is different, right? The responsibilities of family, job, club is order that some clubs have the priorities. But for people that work a lot and want to be in a motorcycle club, a lot of times is you have to let go of perfectionism. A lot of us are overachievers and we tend to try to overwork and be perfect at what we do. But the older we get, it puts on more limits on everything that we do, from hobbies. Maybe you want to go back to school, with your kids, with your wife. And sometimes we get so involved of being so perfect about work that you don't leave yourself room for anything. Sometimes you have to let that perfectionism go, because there's no way you're going to be perfect the older you get sometimes. So that's one of the first things I tell people is, where can you cut things back if you want to be the motorcycle club? I'm not saying lose hours of regular hours, but there's some times that you put so much time that's not going to make much difference. You have to learn, for number two, you have to learn to unplug. Nowadays, technology's everywhere, right? A lot of people, when they leave work, they suddenly get home and they're on their computers, on their phones, on their iPads. They're non-stop working at the dinner table, watching TV, scrolling through freaking YouTube. Keep scrolling through YouTube, this channel here. But a lot of times you can just put on an hour or two and get off that technology and go for a ride, right? Exercise is a major thing for people, and they carve out time. Some people carve out meditation. You can do the same thing with writing or putting some time in for the motorcycle club. You can be your hobby. And like I said, it's the same thing, the thing about exercising. People, if you want to do something, you'll do it. There's limit time wasting activities and people. You got to look you got to carve out that fat, right? There's people that are wasting your time every day. There's activities that people get on there. You can sit on the toilet. You'll be there for freaking an hour watching videos. That's an hour of your time you can be out riding. That's an hour of your time you can go, prospecting or doing something. So those are things I tell people to look at. But you got to change the structure of your life, right? You have set priorities: family, job, club. You prioritize your family first. Your job, you just got to make sure you're going to do your job right. And then for the club. But a lot of people, you can take a step back and actually look of how much time you're going to need to put into the motorcycle club and how much time do you have. Some people don't have kids. Some people don't have a wife. Some people have a lot of kids. So whatever your life is, you got to change the structure that will work. You got to start small and build from there. I mean, you're not going to be working 80-hour weeks and drop to 40 hours. That's not going to happen. People like that fail pretty quick. That's where you see all the workaholics now. They try to commit so drastic changes. They cut their hours in half. It doesn't go well. But if you can cut your hours just a little bit, but still maintain a lifestyle that you want, and you can carve out time for hobbies or for prospecting, to be in a motorcycle club. A lot of times people are in the motorcycle club and they get all these promotions and they're working more. And then their job pulls them away from the motorcycle club and goes to another state. And if your club doesn't have a chapter there, Some people take a leave of absence for about a year and try to figure it out. So start small. You have to, it's like a crash diet. You can't let it just fizzle out. If you do go for such a big commitment, make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. Make sure that's why the hang-around process is such a big thing in the motorcycle club. You see how the club is organized. You see what they do. And then when you start prospecting, you get a better understanding how everything's going to go. So you got to realize that that's for people that are working all the time and say they don't have time for a club. But if you have time, now this is the other issue. There's some people that go in the motorcycle club or in a motorcycle club and then they just focus so much on there that they don't carve out time for their family or jobs. They're late to work the next morning from staying out too late. They're not going to their kids' baseball game, softball game, rehearsal, dance, whatever it may be. Or to their wives' work, to pass by, say hi. So you got two opposites of the spectrum. So if you're in a motorcycle club, you got to realize what the minimum amount of time you want to put in and what's the most amount of time you want to put in. And what's going to be the best amount of time in between that's going to give you a happy medium. Because this is a marathon, it's not a sprint. This is not how fast you can do something within a year or two in that club. It's a lifetime commitment. The club's going to be there, job's going to be there, and family's going to be there. But the job could always leave and something happens in the chapter. But you got to carve out that time to make sure you put in good amount of work at your job that can pay the bills and have time with the family. So this is not all encompassing because, everybody's different. People have kids, don't have kids, like I said. So you got to realize structuring your life to what your priority is. I'm not saying make the club the number one priority, but it's going to be your life. The motorcycle set is life. Everything you do. You go to events as a family together. And not just, I'm talking about motorcycle family and your family. When you're in the club, the brothers do become family. Their old ladies are family. Their kids are family. So that family job club, the people in the club are family. So they become a priority also. So like I said, these are little steps I take and talk to people when they're looking into joining a club. And I go down that list and I ask a certain amount of questions. And for the people that say, "Oh, I can't be in the club because I work so much." Okay, let's kind of rip things apart and see if it's true. Of course, if you're a trucker and you're always everywhere and you're never in one place, it is kind of hard. Okay, but a lot of times you have time to do stuff. But sometimes you focus on the fat of the steak. So you got to get that lean meat, cut all the fat out. Alright guys, this is just something quick I wanted to go over because I get a lot of people that talk to me about the joining motorcycle club and they don't have enough time, or they're actually in a motorcycle club and I get emails about people thinking about leaving their club just because they feel stressed out, that they're too involved. But remember, you set your expectations in the club. The club will understand about jobs and family. Sometimes we put so much pressure on ourselves to do everything we can for the club that we forget that, hey, they're just like me, and they have jobs and they will understand that, and they should understand that. And if they don't, it might not be the right place for you. So remember guys, please hit the like, press subscribe and the bell for each notifications. Till next week, peace.